Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to show you things that you probably didn't know or things that you should be doing to kind of cruise or make your experience while playing Granblue Fantasy, and especially farming and doing stuff in the end game much easier. First and foremost, if you haven't gotten to the end game, I've already made a couple videos, I think 2 videos by the time that this is coming out, that talks about what to do once you get to end game, how to get to end game, the easiest way to do it, etc, etc. But now that you've farmed out a couple pieces of gear, you've gotten new characters, it's time to talk about the easiest or the most efficient ways to farm. Now granted, I don't have like the entire encyclopedia. I haven't spent 700 hours min-maxing every single way, but this is kind of just what I found to work the best, and I've been having decent success farming for stuff like this. Here's what I know. First and foremost, if you couldn't tell by the party list on the top left, I have a bunch of alt characters. Now the reason why I have alt characters is because the best way to actually farm and get materials for your characters or for any sigils or upgrades that you want is, fortunately or unfortunately, to pretty much just AFK. Now ultimately you could do a lot of these stages manually and do it quicker, or you could do stages that are a little bit more difficult. There basically aren't enough hours in the day to make everything efficient, so I've devised a strategy to kind of make this a little bit easier for you. So on these characters, you're probably going to want to have a decent amount of damage. You're probably going to want to have stuff like revives, things that will generally make your runs go quicker, because basically you're going to enter into a stage and then have it get one shot by your allies, and you're basically just going to be really tanky. Ensure that you don't get one shot as well. Most, if not all, characters in your team should probably have revive and some form of guts and some combination like that. But before we go too far into what the characters should look like and what sigils and what kind of build I have on them, let's take a step back and actually talk about the kind of characters that I think are pretty nice to bring into these sort of farming sessions. So in terms of who I have on my list, I have Lancelot because he's the main that I started with, and you know, he has all of my damage, he has most of my investment. He's going to assume the role of main damage dealer, and he's going to do a bunch of damage. The AI is decent at doing damage, so obviously with all my good gear, he's going to be able to one-shot most things. Narmaya is here because not only does she do damage, and I've also, unfortunately or fortunately, gotten her weapon from the ship, or you know, farming the end game boss. She's also here because she has an enmity passive that allows you to forego taking stuff like low profile, because in most cases Narmaya is probably just going to get provoked or get, you know, focus, and then anything else, if it's in terms of AoEs or meteors that fall from the sky, it's not like low profile is going to save you anyways. Having something that at least takes aggro in the form of Narmaya's skill is really nice, and she also does a lot of damage. Also, she's cute. So the third character that I took was Caligostro, and unlike Narmaya, she's actually not so much for damage. The main reason why I have Caligostro is because she has a heal, she has a revive, and ultimately if you can heal and revive, that means that all the times that I'm AFK and getting one shot as Rakam basically just allows me to just get revived and then get, you know, healed and then revived and healed, all while giving buffs to my allies. But then you're probably wondering why I have Rakam, and to be honest with you, this was kind of an accident. Rakam by no means is the character that is supposed to be like the most tanky or anything like that, but to be honest with you, I just found his weapon and he was kind of the only one of the last characters that I was investing in. You could probably exchange Rakam for any other tanky character or any character that you're not going to really use. You'll see the builds in a second. Before we get to that, the thing that we should actually line up is the stages to farm. We're looking for a small arena so that your allies end up getting provoked or immediately start fighting the enemy. And the reason for this, of course, is because you don't really want your allies to have to move too far, or you don't want to have to get to a point where you have to aggress against the enemy. And in the same sort of thinking, you probably don't want stages that have transitions. And although you could definitely get away with fighting Vulcan Bola, the stage is also kind of annoying because, again, like, you're gonna have to basically pray that your allies AI around and path perfectly to fight all the enemies. Ultimately though, if you really need to auto farm Vulcan Bola, you could do that. By all means, I just personally don't really recommend AFKing in these stages. Maniac is where a lot of farming and a lot of low intensity kind of farming will probably come into play. I'm able to farm out, and I'll show you a run where I literally beat Galanza on Maniac, but AFK? Okay, now this is probably the part that you're looking for, which is the character profile, or like kind of the builds that I have on right now. As you can see, I have Rakam's weapon, but that doesn't really matter that much. I guess I get regen. What I'm looking for here is just a bunch of tankiness. You can see I've got a bunch of health. I've got Garrison, I've got Aegis, I've got auto revive, I've got Garrison, improved guard, which doesn't mean anything, firm stance, improved healing, guts, low profile. Again, none of this even really matters. If I could have, I probably would have invested in more defensive ones, but I literally just didn't have any. Moving along, we have Narmaya. This is your standard Narmaya build. She's just got a bunch of damage cap, damage, and, you know, stamina, quick charge, tyranny, all that she can do as much damage as possible. You do want to have her have access to the Dance of Pink Petals. It's a skill that buffs her. You should definitely invest in that. But Utter Devotion is kind of the really important thing, if I'm not mistaken. It's the provoke or the enmity increase to herself, which is obviously really nice. Another really quick note about the AI is that although you may be wondering, oh, like, is it important to get dodge? The AI, like 99% of the time, just perfect dodge anyways, so it doesn't matter too much. Now, of course, I have my main character. On my main build, I'm basically using this because I want to see how good the improved dodge is. Just in terms of the traits that I have for this character, I've got like firm stand. I mean, you know, this is basically everything that you would want in a character. I've got like a bunch of gut stuff. I've got the auto revive. I've got improved dodge. None of this really matters, but I'm not really going to spend a lot of time, honestly, reworking my Lancelot, who's like arguably my strongest character. And finally, we have Cagliostro, who, if you even see here, she doesn't even have like a perfect set of gear or sigils. These skills are pretty important for her. Phantasmagoria is again, a buff. It's a defense buff. It's crit rate. It's attack. Reinforce, yeah, is the healing, which is really nice. Rizomata is one of the more important things that Cagliostro does. She is able to revive people that are currently in critical condition. This is really nice because the less time that you spend in the critical condition bar, the longer you can spend stalling and AFK. For Cagliostro, I have quick cooldown at max. I have Cascade at max as well. I also have Path of Mastery. If you're doing some farming, you might as well get Path of Mastery or extra mastery points anyways. So long as you have the cooldown, I think that's what's most important. Although you could definitely just search by treasure and then just AFK the stages that you need. A couple of the ones that I found really important for upgrading the things that I need. Silver Wolf Clovis, I definitely need, and I'm just doing it by fighting Galanza. Crowning Parapet, sometimes I need to farm it so I can trade it in for, I believe, the Silver Centrum. And then the other one that I've kind of on occasion needed is Know Your Enemy. But let me just show you what a run like this actually looks like. Just watch this. Hands off the keyboard. I'm literally, look, like no movement, no nothing. Galanza is just in the corner over there, like above me, not doing anything. He's not moving. He's not able to move. I'm getting knocked over. None of it literally matters at all. He's entering overdrive. He's going to do like his whole transition and stuff. But again, I've taken like literally no damage at all. It is a little annoying because like when he does this, like he runs out of the range of like my allies, and they're all, again, look, they're perfectly jumping, or like they're not taking like any damage at all. Look, you saw Caligostro? Like they're all just perfectly dodging. So like none of it matters, right? Like the NPCs are totally fine. The only person that's kind of getting one shot is me. But again, I have 60,000 health. Sometimes your allies will heal you, or, you know, Caligostro will cast her heal. I have not even procced Guts yet. My auto revive is still available. He's using his ultimate. Again, I'm sitting on top of AoEs. I'm not taking that much damage. Like I lost like half my health, but like in the grand scheme of things, like I haven't even accessed the critical bar yet, and, you know, getting one shot, it doesn't really matter because you are one-shotting the boss so fast. It's literally a 2-minute run. And again, I can like spin the camera around so you could see it, but like this Galanza guy is kind of getting taken to town. So long as that you don't get one shot, especially as your main character, the NPCs won't try and revive you. And that's basically what you're trying to stall out for anyways. And again, if you want, you can move a little bit. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. But look, I'm using ultimate and I'm pretty sure he just gets one shot here, and that's GG. Okay, so for the sake of, you know, getting like the thing all cleared up, I'm just gonna open up all the chests, but you would just have to wait an additional 30 seconds, which is honestly like nothing at all. I will warn you, when it comes to this initial first run, you do have to sit through to the end of the first run and then activate the repeat quest. But take a look at the rewards, right? 2 5 stars. We didn't get the thing that we actually needed here, but you're getting stuff that you can sell, like the Eternal Snowflake, or you could use it for other things. We've got a curio. Probably not like the best, honestly, like example of what you can get. If you end up just, you know, doing this over the period of a day, not only do you get the mastery points, which I didn't show that, but I believe you get about 400 to 500 mastery points. You could just sit here, basically farm it until you're bored, or until you want to play the game again for real. The reward is obviously going to be much better than that. I just showed you one run for the sake of like the speed run. Long story short though, guys, when it comes to Granblue, there's a lot of like really interesting like text deep dives that you can do when it comes to like making things more efficient, and I'm honestly kind of a really big fan of it. That's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed or you learned something, make sure to like, comment, turn the notification bell, subscribe. If you're someone that plays Granblue or are interested in talking about Granblue or any other content related to me, make sure to check out my Discord, all the rest of my socials, Discord, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, etc. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting. I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.